Due to her introverted and aloof nature, Akane is nicknamed Grim Reaper by her classmates. They even claim she is cursing when feeding her fish. Akane thought she would always be ostracized, but the arrival of a new transfer student changed everything. The student, Taiyo, found the nickname Grim Reaper incredibly cool and approached Akane to learn about its origin. Akane admitted her gaze was intimidating, but to Taiyo, she seemed like a chosen one. Akane worried that Taiyo would be shunned by other students for being close to her, as everyone said that approaching her would bring a curse. However, the quirky Taiyo was only more thrilled by the idea. He insisted on becoming good friends with Akane, who blushed when he invited her to be friends. The first such invitation she ever received. After school, Taiyo clung to walking home with Akane, but 3 girls mocked him, saying he would be cursed by the Grim Reaper. Taiyo found the idea cool and ignored Akane's warnings to stay away. Then, 3 boys from the self-proclaimed Scorpio team approached Taiyo, advising him to stay away from Akane and inviting him to walk home with them. Taiyo retorted that the Scorpio team sounded cool, but he preferred to walk with the Grim Reaper Akane. The leader of Scorpio team, upset, insisted that Akane was just an ordinary person. Taiyo countered, asking if they weren't the ones calling her Grim Reaper. Akane, moved to tears, told Taiyo that she was not a real Grim Reaper. Her gaze was just intimidating. Taiyo responded that he found her gaze cool and still wanted to be friends. His straightforwardness made the Scorpio team speechless, and Akane couldn't help but laugh. Taiyo expressed his wish to be the Grim Reaper with Akane, holding her hand all the way home, impressing her with his charm. Akane never told her father about being ostracized. She felt she could endure it and didn't want to trouble adults. Taiyo noticed that classmates would shout, "Protective shield," at Akane. Being quirky, he thought it meant actually casting a barrier. He believed using a protective shield on himself would stop the mockery. However, Taiyo declared he would never use one on Akane because it's meant for enemies, and they were friends. Darn, my years of effort aren't as powerful as one natural comment from him. Realizing for the first time that she had made a friend, Akane shyly admitted she was very happy. Taiyo felt even happier to be friends with Akane. Ah, 2 little angels. Taiyo, with his cheerful personality, is popular in class. Even Kasahara, the class beauty, has a soft spot for him, though she never admits it as she's tsundere. During a dodgeball game in physical education class, when a boy aimed at Akane, Taiyo stepped in, claiming to be good at dodgeball. He ended up in the nurse's office after getting hit. Everyone joked that Taiyo was cursed by Akane. Akane wasn't bothered by what they said about her, but was concerned about Taiyo. She decided to visit him after school, only to find another boy, Hino, there first, chatting happily with Taiyo. Akane hesitated to enter, fearing she might cause more rumors about them since she was called the Grim Reaper. She waited outside with documents Taiyo needed. Though used to being ignored, Akane felt sad waiting outside. Then, Taiyo came out, looking pitifully at her. He mentioned that Hino had told him Akane was outside, so he had been waiting for her to come in. Akane never entered, so he invited her to sit and chat in the nurse's office, unconcerned about the gossip. He enjoyed talking with her so much that Akane nearly turned into steam. The closeness of the two indeed sparked rumors that they were a Grim Reaper couple. Surprisingly, Taiyo wasn't upset, but thought it was incredibly cool, leaving their classmates at a loss for words. During the cleanup, Taiyo mentioned how lucky he was to have Akane accompany him to school. Otherwise, he would definitely get bored. Later, Akane and Taiyo were assigned to distribute meals for the day. Other students joked that the curry served by the Grim Reaper must taste awful. Taiyo challenged them, asking if they didn't like it, could he have it, as he wanted to try some cursed curry. This left the Scorpio team speechless. Although Taiyo's retort was unintentional, Akane was grateful for his support. When Taiyo missed out on an extra bottle of milk, Akane shared hers with him. Recently, Taiyo heard a rumor that taking a photo with Akane might reveal ghosts. He insisted on taking a picture with her to see if any ghosts would appear. Hino, passing by, offered to take the photo and advised Taiyo not to smile too much, or the ghosts wouldn't linger around them. Taiyo told Akane seriously not to smile, but he ended up smiling widely in the photo. He sighed, admitting that he just couldn't help being very happy around Akane, unable to hide his joy. Akane, standing beside him, felt overwhelmingly flustered. This was truly a scene of pure love. Taiyo's sister, Yukio, discovered that her younger brother, still in elementary school, had brought a girl home and called her his best friend. Seeing the shy Akane and Taiyo holding her hand, Yukio was about to start shipping them when she heard Taiyo say, "Holding Akane's hand felt like being cursed." Yukio playfully scolded him, asking how he could say such a thing to a girl. Taiyo quickly corrected himself, saying holding hands with Akane felt blissful. Yukio was pleased to see Akane's blushing face, enjoying the warm, angelic scene unfolding before her. In calligraphy class, the teacher asked everyone to write their favorite word. Taiyo chose to write Grim Reaper, but Akane disliked writing dark words as it felt like criticizing herself. She preferred Taiyo, which coincidentally is Taiyo's name. Realizing this made her blush again. A few days later, Hino told Akane that Taiyo was home with a cold and asked if she wanted to visit him together. Akane was worried that showing up suddenly might be bothersome. Hino reassured her, saying it was Taiyo, and how could he not be happy to see her? Jokingly, Hino added, "When you two get married, I'll sit at a separate table." True to Hino's words, Taiyo was very happy to see them. After recovering, Taiyo found out that Akane had received a love letter. Akane explained that it was just someone teasing her, as there was a rumor that writing a love letter to the Grim Reaper would bring a curse. Hearing this, Taiyo immediately said he wanted to write a love letter to Akane, and even worried one wouldn't be enough. Akane was flustered by his flirtation. Taiyo seriously asked if he couldn't finish writing, could he just tell her the words instead? He followed through. During his rest, he really did tell Akane many of her qualities. That day, Akane's face turned as red as a ripe crab. On her day off, Akane went to the library to borrow books and ran into Yukio, Taiyo's sister. Yukio invited Akane to her house to play and asked her to model some clothes. She took many photos of Akane and even gave her several outfits. Akane was worried about wearing cute clothes to school because of her nickname Grim Reaper. Yukio thought the nickname was cool and told Akane to seek Taiyo's help if she ever felt bullied. She also mentioned that Taiyo often talks about Akane at home and always sounds happy when he does. This made Akane even more embarrassed. Yukio took many photos, planning to share them with her brother. The Scorpio team persistently advised Taiyo to stay away from Akane, claiming that being near her would bring misfortune. However, Taiyo felt very happy with Akane and called her home that evening to express his gratitude for making him so happy. He also said he would bring happiness to Akane in the future. Do you hear what you're saying? Are you using your big moves as routine? Encouraged by Yukiko's words, Akane wore a different color to school. Taiyo praised her incessantly, calling her cute and even confronted others who mocked her. He was really skilled at handling the situation. Akane found a small black cat in the park and decided to keep it. Taiyo said that Akane and the black cat had matching temperaments and complimented her, saying she was as cute as the cat. The next day, Akane brought many photos of the cat to school. Both Taiyo and Hino found them adorable. Some students made sarcastic remarks, saying it was typical of the Grim Reaper, Akane, to adopt a black cat, and that pets resemble their owners. Taiyo agreed, adding that since the pet is like its owner, Akane must be cute too, emphasizing how cute he found her. The girls hoped for support from Kasahara, the popular girl, who turned out to love cats. She couldn't have one because she lived in an apartment, so she adored Akane's cat even more. The teacher asked the class to prepare a summer vacation plan. Kasahara glanced at Taiyo while Akane wrote hers, which only included visiting graves and shopping with her father, leaving her with little else planned. Taiyo wanted to see Akane's plan, but she instinctively hid it. Seeing Taiyo's disappointed face made Akane feel guilty. She thought she would be happy not seeing classmates during the vacation, but felt down instead. It was raining outside when Akane left the classroom and ran into Taiyo, who had been sent back by the teacher to redo his plan. Despite this, Taiyo remained cheerful. Akane decided to show him her plan and told him she didn't have much scheduled. Taiyo was thrilled, saying this meant he could spend time with Akane. His own plan was almost entirely about playing with Akane, saying that as long as he was with her, he'd be happy no matter where they went. He even offered to help her fill out her schedule, and they quietly went to the library together. The way they held hands seemed just natural. Seeing that their vacation plans matched, Akane was delighted. realizing that setting a schedule was also a form of promise. She was sure this summer would be fun. However, both were caught by the teacher after finishing their plans. After the rain stopped, they walked home together. Akane remembered Taiyo's invitation to hang out and blushed again. When summer finally arrived, Taiyo invited Akane and friends to the pool. Hino suggested they not wear their school swimsuits, so Akane asked her father to go swimsuit shopping with her. Her father was nostalgic, realizing his daughter was growing up as he watched her pick a swimsuit from outside the store. Akane didn't want anything too flashy and was mindful of the prices, putting back anything expensive. The next day, Akane arrived at the pool in her new swimsuit and noticed hardly anyone wore a school swimsuit. However, she worried her choice might be too cute, especially since she was known as the Grim Reaper and felt it might not suit her. So she asked Taiyo to check before going in. Surprised, Taiyo stared for a moment, then quickly pulled her to the poolside where they met the Scorpio team from their class. Kotaro started to make a sarcastic comment, but Taiyo misunderstood it as a compliment, exclaiming that Akane looked so cute in her swimsuit, it was almost a foul. He even said he understood Kotaro's reaction, as seeing a cute girl in a swimsuit could definitely stun someone. While Akane was still worrying if she was overthinking, Taiyo leaned in and whispered that the swimsuit was very cute and suited her well, teasingly asking, "Do you ever run out of charm?" Hino was distributing drinks to the two of them. It was his idea to buy new swimsuits, yet ironically, he ended up wearing his school swimsuit. He really went all out to support his buddy. When you two get married, Hino definitely deserves his own table. Taiyo feels that as long as he is with Akane, he is happy no matter where they go. He also says that Akane's smile is very cute. Other classmates think Akane's smile is odd, and she always thought of herself as a gloomy person. But to Taiyo, Akane is both cool and handsome. He thinks she doesn't smile often because she worries about being too cute, which doesn't fit the Grim Reaper image. However, Taiyo took Akane's hand and assured her that he is always her partner. He likes how she smiles no matter what, and even if she's not cool, he still likes her. Wow, what a smooth talker. In August, Akane went to her grandmother's house with her father. She had intended to ask two friends to look after her kitten, but they were busy, so she brought the kitten with her. Akane is actually quite cheerful around her family. She told her grandmother that she made good friends this year, and that the clothes she was wearing were a gift from a friend's sister. Thinking of Taiyo made Akane wonder what he was up to. At that moment, Taiyo was camping by a creek with his sister, catching virtual creatures in a game. He was also thinking about how Akane was doing. This is what mutual affection looks like. Akane put the kitten in a cage to prevent it from running into the wild, then got up to help her grandmother. However, her grandmother told her to rest instead. Passing by the living room, Akane heard her father and uncle discussing how her cousin wouldn't return this year because she wanted to hang out with friends. Akane thought of Taiyo too. Her grandmother, worried Akane might be bored, was reassured by Akane expressing her love for her. Her grandmother offered her some watermelon and mentioned that it's normal to feel bored even if you like spending time with your grandmother, especially at her age when it's usual to hang out with friends. Akane realized that feeling bored this year was because she had made good friends. She decided to introduce these friends to her grandmother next time. Just then, she turned around and noticed the kitten was missing. She frantically searched for it. Her father realized he had forgotten to tighten a screw on the cage and felt guilty. Just then, someone came over holding the cat, having heard someone calling for it. To Akane's surprise, it was Taiyo. Taiyo was also surprised to find Akane there. Akane was even more surprised to find out that her grandmother knew Taiyo. It turned out that Taiyo had lived nearby before transferring schools. Akane thought this was too coincidental. Taiyo had already said it out loud. Meeting each other seemed like fate. Akane blushed at this. At that moment, her father heard the cat and saw Taiyo, setting off his parental radar. Were they really just friends? The grandmother asked Taiyo to take Akane for a walk around the neighborhood. Her father was shocked, as if he had seen a ghost at his doorstep, but the grandmother had already sent the kids out. The next day, her father took her to visit Graves, and they ran into Taiyo on the way. The two of them chatted happily, prompting her father to decide to let the kids hang out a bit longer. He had told himself not to overthink it, but the grandmother's meaningful remarks about boys turned his face pale, especially when she suggested the kids make more memories together. This made her father very anxious. Taiyo accompanied Akane to visit the graves and helped her light the incense. Akane told Taiyo that such incense should not be blown out. Instead, the flame should be fanned away with the hand. She was familiar with the ritual process, which impressed Taiyo with her knowledge of these lesser-known facts. Akane admitted she didn't know the complete procedure, and they offered jasmine tea because her mother loved that tea. It turned out that Akane's mother had passed away, a fact unknown to her classmates. Taiyo was taken aback and felt sympathy. Akane revealed she had never met her mother, who died shortly after giving birth to her. However, her father and grandmother would tell her about what kind of person her mother was. Even though she had never met her, she remembered her mother's past. Taiyo was the first friend she had introduced to her mother. Realizing this, Taiyo understood that the nickname Grim Reaper was actually very hurtful to Akane. He thought it was cool, but it might have hurt her. Feeling guilty, Taiyo cried and apologized to Akane. She quickly comforted him, explaining that his presence actually helped her move past the negative memories associated with that nickname. Taiyo couldn't stop crying, and eventually they walked home hand in hand. They also went to see the fireflies, as Taiyo had suggested. Throughout the journey, Akane's heart raced, unsure of what Taiyo might think. After that day, Taiyo didn't dare to approach Akane, and she felt down. Instinctively, she ended up at Taiyo's house. When Taiyo saw her, he felt guilty and thought about running away, but this time, Akane grabbed his hand. Wow, the roles have reversed, huh? Taiyo apologized to Akane, promising never to call her Grim Reaper again. He explained that since Akane had said at her mother's grave that she felt like she was living for her mother, the nickname seemed to imply that Akane had caused her mother's death. He hadn't known before, but he couldn't use that nickname anymore. Akane realized Taiyo was really worried about this. Akane had always known that her classmates called her Grim Reaper as a mockery of her appearance. Initially, she disliked the nickname, but Taiyo's arrival changed everything. Because Taiyo liked the Grim Reaper, using the nickname didn't have any malice. Moreover, her father never blamed her for her mother's death. He always earnestly told her that her arrival was something he and her mother had always hoped for. So, Akane didn't mind Taiyo's nickname, and even hoped he would continue using the cool nickname Grim Reaper, because she believed her mother, if alive, would be happy she had such a good friend. Taiyo stared at Akane in amazement. She truly was the Grim Reaper he admired. Strong and impressive. After clearing the air, Taiyo reclaimed the initiative, grabbed Akane's hand, and said he wanted to hold her hand a bit longer today. Akane remembered that Taiyo was originally waiting for Hino. Just then, Hino arrived, not surprised to see the two together. He told them about a summer festival happening next door and invited them to join. "You should thank Hino," he said. Akane had a great time with Taiyo, and Hino didn't interrupt, just quietly eating nearby. Taiyo remarked that he really had the most fun when he was with Akane. In the end, the three of them set off fireworks together. The next day, Taiyo asked Akane to hang out. He had spotted a ring the night before that he thought would suit Akane, and had bought it to give to her, but he lost it. However, Kasahara found the ring and refused to return it, claiming that the Grim Reaper shouldn't wear such a ring. Taiyo agreed, deciding he should buy a real ring for Akane, and then pulled out another black ring from his pocket. He earnestly put it on her ring finger, saying he couldn't afford an expensive ring now, but would buy her a more suitable one in the future. What do you call that? A game-winning move. That night, Akane stared at the ring, completely smitten. On their way to school, Taiyo suddenly asked Akane if he could tickle her. Akane shyly declined. Taiyo said he just wanted to make her laugh. Akane explained that she could laugh without being tickled. Hearing this, Taiyo declared his goal to become the person who could make Akane laugh the most. He hoped she would always be happy around him. That's unbeatable, bro. I don't know about Akane, but I'm grinning from ear to ear. Taiyo wanted to enter a local photography contest and initially planned to take cool photos of Akane. Akane, feeling shy, was hesitant to be photographed, but agreed to help Taiyo find cool scenes. However, Taiyo couldn't resist taking photos of Akane instead. After taking the photos, he felt Akane looked too cute that day, so he called Hino to join them for a photo session. It ended up being the three of them taking pictures of whatever interested them. Hino obsessively took photos of his tank top, earning him the title Tank Top Master. Whenever Akane fell behind, Taiyo immediately stopped to wait for her, then grabbed her hand and they ran together. Looking at the photos later, Taiyo reflected on how many memories they had made over the summer, thankful for having Akane by his side, which made his summer very enjoyable. Akane was overwhelmed. The photo of the three of them with sunflowers actually won a silver prize at a mall contest. At home, just thinking of Akane made Taiyo happy. His sister could tell he was thinking about Akane and commented that it was normal, given how cute Akane was, almost like an angel. Taiyo was shocked, realizing that Akane was not just a grim reaper, but also an angel, and she hadn't yet discovered her angelic nature. Taiyo decided to tell Akane, so the next day at school, he whispered in her ear that she was too cute, and thus an angel. Wow, he was so good at this. She didn't stand a chance. Akane changed her hairstyle. He even mentioned wanting to try braids himself, which Hino thought was a good idea. The Scorpio team immediately criticized Akane's hairstyle as inappropriate, but Hino and Taiyo thought the comments were directed at them and remarked how any hairstyle looks cute on Akane. Today is September 1st, the first day of the new term. Akane and Taiyo became desk mates. Akane was happy to be seated next to Taiyo, and before she could express it, Taiyo spoke up first, making Akane blush. Hino felt a bit jealous of their close seating. The teacher said everyone had to choose a class president before leaving. Kotaro from the Scorpio team, finding it bothersome, suggested Akane as a way to put her on the spot, knowing she would be too shy to refuse. Unexpectedly, Taiyo raised his hand to support Akane. Kasahara immediately turned around as she had a crush on Taiyo. Her friend reminded her to make a move soon, or else Taiyo might be taken by Akane. They've always been together, so what's this about being stolen? Kasahara then volunteered herself for class president and suggested Akane withdraw. She claimed that only smart and popular people should be class president and said Akane wasn't popular. The teacher intervened, saying it was not nice to speak like that. Taiyo countered that Akane must be the most popular. Otherwise, why would the Scorpio team nominate her? Kasahara argued that wasn't the case and claimed Akane had no friends in class. Taiyo, surprised, then said, "So I'm Akane's first friend and Hino is her second friend?" Taiyo voluntarily withdrew from the class president election, suggesting that Akane and Kasahara share the role, especially after Kasahara commented that not-so-smart people shouldn't be class president. Kasahara was feeling down, so Taiyo came over with Hino to help. Akane, Hino, and Taiyo got along well. A classmate, Anda, had a crush on Hino and quietly approached Akane, asking for help to find out what Hino liked since his birthday was coming up soon. Akane felt it was best to ask Hino directly. Coincidentally, Hino overheard them talking about him and approached immediately. Anda blushed, and Hino thought she had a fever, even reaching out to check her temperature. Typical of someone who's close to Taiyo, using his charm effortlessly. Akane noticed Anda's feelings for Hino right away. Upon asking, they found out that Anda and Hino were childhood friends. They used to play together a lot as kids, but as they grew older, the girls started to dress up and formed their own cliques, leading to boys and girls playing separately. Anda envied Akane for being able to hang out with boys without worrying about what others thought. Akane hesitated, wondering if perhaps she had no friends at all. Nevertheless, she agreed to help Anda find out what Hino liked. Because Anda was getting close to Akane, she was teased by the Scorpio team members. Just then, Taiyo ran over, having heard that Akane had a subordinate. He expressed his envy, joking that he wanted to be a subordinate of the Grim Reaper as well. Anda was worried that Akane might be upset, but instead, Akane blushed. Taiyo told Akane that they would celebrate Hino's birthday this weekend, and Akane agreed to go. Taiyo asked the three members of the Scorpio team if they wanted to come, but they said they wouldn't if Akane was there. Taiyo just nodded and didn't invite them again. The three turned and walked away, annoyed. Akane asked Anda if she wanted to join Hino's birthday party. Anda was worried about intruding, but Taiyo assured her that she wouldn't be intruding at all since she was Akane's friend. Eventually, many classmates came to celebrate Hino's birthday. Encouraged by Akane, Anda gave him a hat as a gift. Akane apologized to Anda, concerned that others might misunderstand their friendship and target Anda. Anda dismissed the concern, saying she actually wanted to be friends with Akane and even called her by her nickname. Akane went home very happy, her face flushed with joy. My goodness, She's too cute. After school, Kasahara approached Taiyo and asked if he was dating Akane, explaining that dating meant going on dates and kissing. Taiyo said he had not done such things with Akane. Kasahara smugly said that meant they were strangers. Taiyo was not pleased. He didn't want to be strangers with Akane. So, when he was alone with Akane, he asked her if he could kiss her when they grew up. Akane was taken aback and blushed. Kasahara probably didn't anticipate giving such an assist. Seeing Taiyo and Akane getting closer, Kasahara couldn't sit still. She deliberately talked to Akane when Taiyo was passing by, claiming that Akane found hanging out with Taiyo boring. Taiyo felt down upon hearing this, thinking he wasn't trying hard enough to make Akane happy. Akane quickly shook her head, denying it ever happened. She was happy to be friends with Taiyo. Taiyo insisted that wasn't good enough because he was very happy when he was with Akane. So he wanted to work hard to make Akane as happy as he was. Hino gave Kasahara a look, as if to say, "Why stir up trouble?" Lately, Taiyo felt a bit jealous because Akane and Anda were getting along so well. During a class trip, Taiyo wanted to sit with Akane, but Kasahara, trying to separate them, suggested to the teacher that people who weren't close should sit together to get to know each other better. Akane worried that no one would want to sit with her, but Anda happily came over to invite her. Taiyo pouted, feeling jealous. Kasahara quickly came over to invite him because they rarely talked, so they were paired together. Kasahara was assigned the task of looking after those who get carsick, which was given to Akane. Anda thought Kasahara was being a bit too much, but Akane didn't refuse. She just noticed that Taiyo seemed unhappy today, even though this was their first trip together. Akane's father made her a picnic lunch for the trip and included many small marinated eggs because he knew his daughter was shy and hoped the thoughtful gesture would help her make more friends. Kasahara had planned many things but did not anticipate that Taiyo would get severely carsick. The teacher had to let Taiyo get off the bus to rest without delaying the rest of the group. Fortunately, they were not far from the destination, so as planned, Akane was left to take care of Taiyo. Kasahara had wanted to take this role, but Kotaro thought this troublesome task should be left to the Grim Reaper, and forcefully pulled Kasahara away. The teacher asked Akane to stay with Taiyo for a while and they could walk to the destination later. To ensure safety, the teacher also left some money with Akane. Taiyo, feeling dizzy, leaned on Akane's shoulder, mistaking her for Kasahara at first. When he realized his mistake, he quickly moved away. But upon seeing it was Akane, he cheerfully said, "Seeing you makes me feel better." Clearly, nothing could keep him down. He was too good at this. Later, Taiyo apologized, feeling that the trip was supposed to be an opportunity for Akane and Anda to become closer. Thus, he had refrained from talking to Akane, but ended up getting carsick. Akane thought Taiyo was really nice and wanted to cheer him up, so she suggested they walk around nearby before heading to the trip location. Taiyo was delighted, and they strolled along a shopping street, spending the money the teacher had given them for phone use. The teacher wasn't upset when he found out, but reminded them not to tell the other classmates. Afterwards, the teacher brought them back to join the main group. Taiyo apologized to Anda, worried he had disrupted their relationship, but Anda hugged Akane and declared they were already good friends. Then, everyone went to the planetarium together. When Hino got hungry, the four of them opened their lunchboxes. Akane discovered that the small marinated eggs her father had prepared could be shared with her friends. Her father had even included toothpicks, making it easier for her to interact with her friends. She quickly took a group photo and sent it to her father to thank him for preparing the eggs. Her father, at work, was moved to tears. While visiting the planetarium, Kasahara kept watching Taiyo, noticing that he only smiled so brightly at Akane. Indeed, Akane had a very enjoyable day today. Taiyo went to the bathroom and upon returning, found that Akane had been voted by the class to dress up as a witch. The intention was to mock her as a dark, sinister witch. However, to Taiyo, Akane appeared incredibly cute, and not at all scary as a witch. The class said Akane's witch dress was made from scraps, which made Taiyo admire her even more. She looked so cute even in a dress made from scraps. He thought Akane truly was the cutest. "Master, I've been kneeling for 3 days. Teach me how to speak with high EQ." That day, Yukiko gave her yukata to Akane. Akane worried it was too valuable, but Yukiko waved it off, saying it no longer fit her and that it only looked cute on Akane. She also invited Akane to wear the yukata and join Taiyo at her school's cultural festival. When Taiyo, who had gone to buy soy sauce, saw Akane. He thought she didn't look like the Grim Reaper at all, but like a very normal, cute girl. Yukio told him that this meant Akane needed his protection. Taiyo nodded seriously. The next day, he wore his yukata and took Akane to his sister's school. Yukio said she had to help with her class's activities and gave them a bunch of booth tickets to enjoy nearby. Many middle schoolers looked at the two children with affectionate smiles. Taiyo wondered when he would grow up, noticing that Akane seemed a bit down, possibly worried about being unhappy as they grew older. So, Taiyo earnestly told Akane that he would always be with her, ensuring she stayed happy. Kotaro from the Scorpio team approached Taiyo and mentioned that he saw Taiyo and Akane hanging out together. He threatened to tell the whole school about their closeness. To Kotaro's surprise, Taiyo blushed, thinking Kotaro was announcing to the whole school that he and Akane were best friends. Taiyo feared he might get too proud, joking that the Scorpio team could never beat that. The sports festival was coming up soon. Everyone in class said that having Akane, the Grim Reaper, would mean a loss. Taiyo was worried that if he won, it might break Akane's curse. Encouraged by cheers, he resolved to give his best in the competition. Hearing that Akane lacked confidence and feared dragging the class down, Taiyo took her to climb up a circular structure where they could see far into the distance. It was Akane's first time climbing it. Because of the strong wind, Taiyo held her shoulders. He told Akane that he had just transferred and had many things he wanted to do with her. Akane blushed, shy but eager to try hard together with Taiyo. Anda, passing by with Hino, remarked on how youthful the two looked. Just as they were about to descend from the structure, a strong gust of wind knocked Akane off. Taiyo immediately rushed to catch her, resulting in him fracturing his hand. He cried out in pain and tears. A teacher quickly took them to the hospital. Akane and her father waited at the hospital when Taiyo's mother, Takada, arrived. She wasn't angry at all. She even joked with Akane, saying Taiyo's hand was broken very neatly. Akane's father quickly apologized, but Takada felt it was her own child's fault. Taiyo had taken Akane to climb the circular structure, and Akane could have been more seriously injured. Akane felt guilty, believing it was her fault Taiyo was hurt while trying to protect her, especially since he had been looking forward to the sports festival. She thought she had made an irreparable mistake. Taiyo's mother praised Akane for being brave enough to admit her mistakes and apologize. She carefully wiped away Akane's tears, telling her that the small mistakes made in childhood could be fixed. Shocked, Akane asked if a fracture was considered a small mistake. However, Takada reassured her that children recover from fractures quickly and cleanly, and that it wasn't a big deal. She joked that wearing a cast as an adult would be embarrassing. Takada also suggested that her son would probably be glad Akane was not injured, as Taiyo was quite fond of her. She told Akane not to blame herself because Taiyo had chosen to protect her willingly, and she hoped Akane would continue to be friends with Taiyo. What a family of angels, Akane thought, feeling warmed by their kindness. The next day, Taiyo came to school with a cast, proudly claiming he felt like a sealed dragon, which was very cool. He noted that his arm had broken cleanly and would heal quickly, thankful that it wasn't Akane who was injured. Mother knows best, he mused. After Taiyo broke his arm, Akane would feed him and stop him from sneaking out to play soccer because of his injury. Anda, passing by, exclaimed that they were just like a married couple. Darn, as much as I ship them, they are still kids. Since Taiyo's injury, Akane had been quietly practicing running because she knew how much he looked forward to competing. But since he got hurt protecting her, she felt she couldn't just accept his kindness passively. So, Akane started to train hard, believing that improving together was the best effort they could make. The other students in their 5th grade class thought it unnecessary to go all out for a sports festival. Kotaro from the Scorpio team was persuaded by Taiyo to join the relay race, while Kasahara, who was fast, thought it was pointless to exert so much effort for the sports festival and refused to participate in the relay. Akane wanted to raise her hand to join the race, but despite her long training, she couldn't seem to increase her speed. So Akane quietly approached Kasahara and asked her to join the relay race. Kasahara asked why Akane didn't participate herself. Akane honestly replied that despite long practice, she couldn't improve her speed enough, and they would lose the race. Kasahara then asked if Akane's request was for Taiyo's sake. Akane nodded and then shook her head, explaining she now found school enjoyable and wanted to contribute to her class, inspired by Taiyo. But since she couldn't increase her speed, she had to ask Kasahara to race. Faced with Akane's honesty, Kasahara suddenly asked if Akane would be okay if Taiyo recovered, and it ended up being Kasahara and Taiyo in the relay together. Wouldn't Akane be afraid of their relationship improving? Akane, looking forward, replied, "Why should I be afraid?" She believed that with Kasahara and Taiyo's speed, they could definitely win. Embarrassed by Akane's straightforwardness, Kasahara eventually agreed to compete. Kasahara's speed amazed everyone. Kotaro felt shy, wondering if he really had to compete. The sports day was approaching quickly. In the morning, Taiyo was scheduled to visit the hospital to have his cast removed and check if he could compete. During lunch, Akane's father prepared many lunch boxes for her, while Yukio recorded a video for Akane, saying Taiyo would definitely want to see her like this, and would surely rush back because he knew Akane was waiting here. The father joked, "Are you sure you two are just friends?" Meanwhile, many people were waiting for Taiyo to return. Even in the relay race, Kotaro was placed last to allow Taiyo to potentially replace him if he could make it back in time, given Taiyo's exceptional running speed and athletic potential. Kotaro noticed Kasahara was taking the race very seriously. Having agreed to Akane's request, she was determined to give her all, feeling it would be a loss otherwise. As the race started, Kasahara saw their team was falling behind. Kotaro felt nervous, his stomach aching. But when Kasahara took the baton, the usually shy Akane gathered her courage and cheered loudly for Kasahara in front of everyone. Motivated, Kasahara overtook the competitors ahead and reached the final leg just as Taiyo arrived. Boosted by Akane's cheers, Taiyo surpassed the 6th graders and clinched first place. Everyone gathered around Taiyo to celebrate. Taiyo gestured a yeah towards Akane, who was outside the crowd, and she nodded happily. Then she turned and ran to Kasahara under a tree, hugging her and crying, grateful that Kasahara had indeed given her all. Kasahara, feeling shy, thought of pushing Akane away, joking that touching the Grim Reaper would bring a curse. But as the words reached her lips, she stopped, realizing such comments could hurt Akane, so she remained silent instead. Just then, Taiyo also rushed over. Kasahara's attitude towards Akane softened, and they even picked out a photo together. After school, Taiyo came to find Akane, and ended up walking home with both Akane and Kasahara. Akane made a 4-leaf clover charm for Taiyo, who happily accepted it. The Scorpio team teased that anything made by the Grim Reaper would curse Taiyo. Taiyo got even more excited, saying that while lucky charms are common, a cursed 4-leaf clover is rare. This meant the charm Akane made was unique, and he vowed to treasure it. Unbeatable, he thought. Some girls in the class claimed that making eye contact with Akane would curse them. They were mocking her looks, but Taiyo found Akane's eyes perfect. He enjoyed her company and loved her smiling eyes. A few days later, Akane wore an eye patch due to a sty, prompting rumors she did it to please Taiyo. However, Taiyo thought Akane looked cool with the eye patch and was even happier when she took it off once her eye healed. Akane, shyly removing the eye patch and revealing both eyes, blushed as Taiyo complimented her perfect eyes. The girls in the class noticed Taiyo wearing a white jacket and felt that the Grim Reaper shouldn't dress like that. Kasahara heard this and felt uncomfortable. She realized her past behavior was too harsh and stopped joining in on gossip about Akane. Now that both she and Akane were class representatives, and Akane occasionally complimented her as handsome, Kasahara sighed, feeling utterly outmatched by Akane. Classmates say that dreaming about Akane brings a curse, but Taiyo is happy to share his dreams about her. Regardless of what others say, he believes Akane is the best. Then Hino joins in, saying he also dreamt about both of them wearing tank tops, teasing, "Tank top, master, you really love those tank tops." Akane visits Taiyo's house to borrow manga. Yukio worries about her getting too close to her brother, fearing that boys in their class might speak ill of her. However, Akane mentions that Taiyo always stands up to those who talk badly. Yukio nods in approval, pleased. Then, she playfully gets close to a blushing Akane when Taiyo is coming home, making her sister think she is teasing Akane and hurriedly come over to stop her. One day, Anda approaches Akane, expressing a wish to visit her home to see her cats. Taiyo shouts, calling Anda sly and confessing he too wants to visit Akane's home. Akane invites them both, and later excitedly tidies up her room. Her father is also happy, accompanying her to the mall to buy cakes. Akan carefully selects each piece of cake, and her father buys some tea for her to serve her friends. Akane was looking forward to meeting her friends the next day, and Taiyo got up early, very excited. However, plans do not always go as expected. Akane falls ill with a cold and apologizes to her father for making so many demanding requests just to have fun with her friends. Her father, feeling sorry for her, reassures her that wanting to spend time with friends is not being demanding at all. Her father had to go to work and left early. Akane was upset because she was really looking forward to today's meeting and had even bought 4 portions of cake, which now seemed too much to finish alone. Unexpectedly, Taiyo's voice rang out, saying he would help her eat them, joking that it would make Akane fat if she ate them all by herself. Surprised, Akane turned around to find Taiyo holding her hand. It wasn't just Taiyo. Anda and the others had come too. Her father stood at the door, very relieved. After finishing the cake, Hino gave Akane some free ramen vouchers, suggesting they visit his place when she got better. Just as the friends were about to leave, Akane, thinking this had all been a dream, instinctively grabbed Taiyo's sleeve and confessed she felt lonely, hoping he would stay with her. Taiyo blushed, and Anda, pushing up his glasses, commented, "Very good, delicious." Akane slept until morning and woke up to find her fever gone. Next to her pillow, there were several ramen vouchers. It wasn't a dream after all. Meeting Taiyo later, both were somewhat embarrassed. Anda looked on meaningfully, realizing even Taiyo could be caught off guard by Akane's straightforwardness. Passing by, Kasahara immediately noticed the awkward atmosphere between them, breaking her defenses. Kasahara, who loves cats, mistook a plastic bag for a cat on the street. Turning around, she realized Akane had seen everything and felt embarrassed. However, Akane thought this side of Kasahara was quite cute. Embarrassed, Kasahara asked if she could visit Akane's cat next time, and Akane gladly agreed. The next day at school, Kasahara noticed a leaf in Akane's hair, which Taiyo, who was chatting with her, hadn't spotted. Unable to resist, Kasahara walked up and removed the leaf. "Jealous," Taiyo exclaimed, asking when Kasahara got so close to Akane. Kasahara insisted it was just a normal friendship, but to Taiyo, both having cool nicknames seemed like they were allies. Flustered, Kasahara reiterated they were just friends, which made Akane very happy to hear. Akane dressed up specially to go to the zoo with Taiyo and Hino. Taiyo kept complimenting her, and Akane wanted to return the praise. When she asked Taiyo where he thought he was handsome, he seriously inquired. Akane said he was handsome all over, and Taiyo, in turn, lavished her with compliments, then became shy. The next day, the Scorpio team teased that Akane was like a ghost from weekend variety shows. Taiyo defended her, stating Akane was with him all weekend, so she couldn't be the ghost from the shows. Kotaro was shocked, blurting out if that wasn't a date. Taiyo explained they were just kids and Hino was there too. Before they could relax, Hino strolled by, mentioning he left early that day to meet Anda for shopping. "The real winner is here," he joked. That day, Akane was humming a tune while going to buy groceries when she bumped into Taiyo. Taiyo complimented her singing and insisted on carrying her bag so she could continue. Akane shyly refused, which made Taiyo look quite downcast. Eventually, Akane sang for him. Girls in the class said that Taiyo and Akane were too close, and that such mixed-gender friendships could lead to them becoming bad kids. Taiyo, worried, retorted that if talking to him made them bad, then what about their conversation right now? The 3 girls were left speechless. That afternoon, Taiyo told Akane about the incident, and she sighed, reassuring him that chatting normally was fine. Taiyo was relieved, exclaiming how lonely he'd be if he couldn't talk to Akane. Yukiko's best friend, Kasumi, admired Taiyo's straightforwardness and his lack of concern for others' opinions. Hearing that Kasumi was planning a date with someone she liked, Taiyo was impressed and mentioned that he and Akane were going shopping for their Christmas party that day. He was visibly excited upon seeing Akane, telling her that the party would be a chance to do many things they normally couldn't, like exchanging gifts. Akane felt uplifted by Taiyo's enthusiasm. Just then, Hino called, saying he and Anda were setting up room decorations, and Kasahara also called to say she would be a bit late, having been invited by Akane. Akane and Taiyo followed a map to find a cake shop. Passing couples complimented them, calling them cute. Akane was relieved that Taiyo didn't read too much into it. However, they hadn't gone far when Taiyo spotted his sister's friend Kasumi on a date. He remarked that Kasumi and her date looked as lovey-dovey as he and Akane. Akane blushed deeply. Taiyo wondered why they were sitting in a cold park instead of having a party. He was about to greet them, but before Akane could stop him, he turned around to see Kasumi kissing her boyfriend. They instinctively hid. Taiyo looked at Akane, recalling how he had asked her if he could kiss her when they grew up. His face turned completely red, and his hands trembled. Akane reminded him they needed to buy the cake. Holding hands, they went together. For some reason, their usually familiar hands felt unusually hot today. When they returned home, Kasahara had already arrived and noticed their flushed faces, looking as red as cooked shrimp. Since witnessing Kasumi and her boyfriend kissing in the park, Akane and Taiyo became unusually quiet. To break the awkward silence, Kasahara and Anda tried to lighten the mood, and Hino suggested it was time to exchange gifts. This suggestion broke the ice, and everyone chose blind box gifts through a draw. Taiyo picked a small gift, which turned out to be a lipstick from Kasahara. This reminded him of the scene in the park, making him feel embarrassed again. Akane noticed he was bothered by what happened at the park. Anda ended up with the gift Taiyo brought, a fake mustache. Anda's gift, a pair of sunglasses, went to Hino. Kasahara received a scarf chosen by Akane, making both a bit shy to thank each other. Kasahara blushed on the spot, drank juice as if it were alcohol, appearing to be drunk, and commented that the atmosphere was off ever since Akane and Taiyo returned. She didn't like seeing them like that. At that moment, Taiyo had stepped out onto the balcony, and Akane followed him. Suddenly, Taiyo confessed his feelings, saying he really liked Akane, but also valued their other friends. However, his feelings for Akane seemed different. She felt more special to him. He asked Akane if he could kiss her. Akane, taken aback, blushed and declined. She explained that wanting to kiss someone should come from a genuine desire, not just to confirm feelings. Taiyo earnestly replied that his desire to kiss her was indeed from the heart. Oh, he was really too good at this. At that moment, Kasahara opened the door and invited them in for drinks. Taiyo agreed and then told Akane they would talk about this topic later. Akane blushed again, feeling her heart couldn't take much more. Then, Akane opened her gift, which turned out to be a tank top identical to the one Hino had sent. Anda looked envious, and Kasahara was shocked, wondering if Anda actually liked tank tops. After Christmas came New Year's, and Taiyo's family decided to take Akane with them to visit a shrine. Akane felt embarrassed remembering what Taiyo had said that day. But upon seeing him, he appeared normal, and even took her hand to go to the shrine together. At the shrine, Taiyo's mother went to buy them sweet sake. Akane realized this was her first time visiting a shrine with friends her age. Taiyo also felt it was his first time hanging out with friends at this time, grateful for Akane's presence. Akane felt happy to know Taiyo, who had always been caring towards her. Taiyo was delighted to hear this. Although he was still unsure about the type of his feelings, he knew he was happy with Akane. They even agreed to make the same wish. At that time, Hino and Anda's family also arrived. Akane wished that in the new year, everyone could continue to have fun together. Although she didn't know what wish Taiyo had made, Akane felt that everything was just right. Taiyo had also bought a new phone, and he immediately added Akane as a friend, planning to message her daily. After returning to school, rumors spread about changing seats. Sitting together twice in a row meant you were a couple. This time, Akane's desk neighbor was Kotaro from the Scorpio team. Suddenly, Anda raised his hand, claiming he couldn't see the blackboard, so he swapped seats with Akane. Taiyo was very happy because they were neighbors again. Taiyo then remarked, "This is the second time we're desk mates." Taiyo helped Akane pick up her eraser, and then placed his hand on hers, saying he wanted to hold it a bit longer to absorb the power of a curse. Akane thought Taiyo was impressive for not caring about what others thought, and told him she wanted to be like him. Suddenly, Taiyo felt a jolt in his fingers, thinking it was the power of the curse, but it was actually his heart fluttering. Taiyo recently found himself constantly thinking about Akane. Kotaro thought this was normal since Taiyo spent every day with Akane. However, Anda disagreed because Taiyo mentioned that being with Akane made his heart beat very fast. Kotaro joked that Taiyo was cursed, which Taiyo found amusing. Anda was frustrated, calling him clueless, especially after hearing that Akane also felt her heart race when with Taiyo. Anda was so agitated that he ended up making a Rasengan on the spot. One day, the 3 members of the Scorpio team took Taiyo to their secret base and asked him to save their team. It turned out that the Scorpio team had a rivalry with another group next door. The 2 groups often competed, but the neighboring organization would not admit defeat. The Scorpio team secretly created a bomb that could release cockroaches on a timer and planned to place it in the rival class's storage locker. However, the person responsible for deploying the cockroach bomb accidentally went to the wrong classroom and placed it in their own class's locker instead. Therefore, the trio asked Taiyo to retrieve the bomb before it exploded. They specifically asked Taiyo because the bomb had accidentally been placed in Akani's locker. Kotaro stubbornly claimed it wasn't to save Akane, but to prevent the bomb from harming innocent people. Once Taiyo heard Akane was in danger, he immediately agreed to help. There were only 10 minutes left before the cockroach bomb was set to explode. Taiyo approached Akane while the 3 members of the Scorpio team peeked from behind. They weren't actually trying to save Akane, but were worried about getting scolded by the teacher if the incident was exposed. However, they forgot that Taiyo was naive, and he blurted out about the bomb. Akane was confused, but Hino overheard. Then, the whole class mistakenly thought there was a bomb in the classroom and prepared to contact the teacher to call the police. Taiyo immediately stepped forward, saying he could handle the bomb. Akane then remembered finding a strange device in her locker and mentioned she had already given it to the teacher. Everyone worried that the teacher might be in danger, but Taiyo had already rushed out. The other students followed. The homeroom teacher was nearby holding the device. It was too late to stop anything. Suddenly, cockroaches flew out from the bomb, landing on several girls' heads, causing chaos. The incident ended with the Scorpio team being dismantled. Akane was happy that Taiyo had tried to save her by agreeing to help find the bomb. Although Scorpio Team 1.0 was defeated, Kotaro mentioned forming a version 2.0 of the Scorpio team and invited Taiyo to join. However, Taiyo declined because Akane was not part of it. He expressed a preference for the Shinigami over the Scorpio team and asked Akane if she wanted to form a Shinigami group. The teacher asked everyone to draw themselves in 10 years. Taiyo drew himself and Akane in Shinigami outfits. Akane was shocked and asked why she would still be around in 10 years. Taiyo said it was because he wanted to be with her forever. He added a soul to her drawing, explaining that Akane was so cute that he had to add something to highlight her coolness, which made her blush. The next day, Taiyo noticed Akane smelled nice. She explained it was a new shampoo given by her father's friend, and she worried others might notice the scent and say Shinigami don't need to care about such things. However, Taiyo said Akane was always charming and couldn't resist boasting about the charm of a Shinigami to others, calling it a bewitching curse. That day, Akane sent Taiyo a message, making him very happy. He told his sister Yukio that there was a rumor in class that receiving a message from a Shinigami would bring a powerful curse. Yukio understood and told Taiyo that Akane's hidden identity was an angel, because receiving texts from an angel could make people overly excited and faint. Taiyo immediately replied to Akane, saying he was so happy to receive her message he could almost die of happiness. Remembering a rumor about 20 people, Yukio suggested they go to school and boast about it. So Taiyo went to school excitedly, and the school rumor became that receiving a message from Akane would bring happiness. Even Kasahara asked Akane for her contact details. That day, Akane's father drove her to school. Taiyo rushed over to greet them. Since her father was there, it wasn't appropriate to use her full name, so Taiyo used Akane's nickname. Akane responded by calling him by his nickname. Seeing his daughter so happy, her father gave Taiyo a look of fatherly approval. My goodness, this pure love is simply unbeatable.